Let me look at the people who are as successful as it gets in this business.
You know, if you're 45 with 3 kids, that's not the time to do it.
I have no opportunity to take any risk that could positively benefit me down the road.
I work with a lot of people who I call they're stuck.
The most important thing we can do is learn to value properties correctly.
You have one thing that if you lose it, you can never get it back.
All right, pause it right there. Don't actually pause the screen. If you are listening to this, thank you for supporting the Risky Business Podcast. If we have given you any sort of value add in your life or pushed you to take a risk, I would love for you to, whatever platform you're listening to this, rate it, follow it, share it with somebody. That's the most important thing. If you're sitting there thinking, hey, that episode I listened to maybe the other day with Scotty Scarce or the one with Dave Stone or Daniel Cameron or whoever it might have been, whatever you're listening to, share it with somebody. That's the biggest way we can help spread this risk platform. Thank you so much for listening. Now let's get back to the episode. All right, welcome back to the Risky Business Podcast. I'm very excited for today's guest. This is one of the ones where we have not got to really meet yet. We talked on the way in. We have a great mutual friend, Mr. Andrew Parker, who connected us together. And so I'm thank you, Andrew, if you're listening. If not, you should be listening. But I'm sitting down with Jordan Pohn today, and I'm so excited. Andrew told me, he's like, you have to sit down with Jordan. So I don't know a ton of your story. I know tidbits of it, but I'm going to act like I know nothing so that we can get to know each other today. And thanks so much for sitting down with me.
Of course. Yeah. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sam.
Oh, of course. It's been fun. And Andrew kind of filled me in on a little bit of your story and started off in the lending world. And you just mentioned it here before we got started that you started off as an attorney. You're headed down that path and then took some big risks. So I always love it when people call me and they're like, hey, I know what you do with your podcast. And my goal is to encourage and challenge young people to take the next risk in their life. And I love it when people are like, you have to have this person on because their story is so full of risk. It will challenge people just with whatever they say. So that's what I'm excited for today. And thanks for taking time to sit with somebody you don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell me about yourself. Introduce yourself.
So my name is Jordan Pohn. Currently, we have a private lending business. Sam, should I give a little bit of my backstory?
Yes, please. Anything you want to.
Where I came from, because it wasn't even close to where I am now. So grew up here in Louisville, went to high school at Ballard, took the traditional route that everybody goes through. And I'm older, so back in the 80s, you had to go to college. Today, maybe not so much. Went to Miami of Ohio, kept going to Ohio State for law school. Again, following the path that every mother and dad likes, right? Their boys getting a law degree. Came back to Louisville, got a good job at, it's now Bingham Greenbaum. So I was dressing up in my suit, going to the 37th floor downtown, thinking I was set for the rest of my life. Worked there for about 3 years. It wasn't fulfilling me. I have lots of energy. I'm more entrepreneurial. Reading through 50-page Papa John leases was not my style. Yeah. And I was looking.
I don't know if that's anybody's style.
It's not. Anybody going to law school, come talk to me. And I was looking at the 40, 50-year-old partners, and I'm thinking, even if I get there and make partner, that's not what I want to do. So I was kind of looking around, and I thought about opening a title company. It's a little more dynamic type of law with a buddy who was down there with me. We'd actually started looking into it. I think we even filed an LLC, and then my brother called. I have a identical twin brother, and he had started a mortgage brokerage shop. That business had just gotten started in the mid-90s. Now it's booming, and people know what they do. Back then, it was risky to start. My brother
at the time, would everybody just go to banks to get loans?
People went to banks to get loans.
Weren't going the mortgage broker route?
Yes, this was very non-conforming, but it was called subprime lending back in the day. So people who didn't qualify for the conforming, like your clients, Sam, they would come to us, and we had more flexibility, and there were a lot of people on Wall Street buying these subprime loans. So he started that in 95 with a buddy. In 96, 97, he said, I want to expand to Nashville. He's fairly entrepreneurial as well. He built the platform here, doing a loan here, doing a loan in Nashville. A house is a house, right? So he said, look, I trust you. Learn the business here, then go to Nashville. All sounds good until he told me, oh, by the way, you're going to be all commission. So I go from a decent paying lawyer job wearing my suit, all commission. And it was a little bit of tuck tail. You feel pretty good about yourself when you're 27 downtown. I was just a regular mortgage broker, all commission with everybody else on the floor, basically calling a little bit better than calling out of the white pages.
Yeah.
So basically cold calling people who don't play in your game. I think our average loan amount, now again, there's been some appreciation, was less than 100,000.
Oh, wow.
So we were doing loans, again, for people who didn't have what the white collar crew has. So I was meeting people in the West End, not in my suit. And that's kind of how I got my start into the mortgage world. And then a year later, went down to Nashville, opened up a shop there. The next risk we took, we had another partner. And so in 99 or 2000, we had a buyout opportunity. And it was a decent one for young people, 7 figures, but my brother and I saw the future. And so we didn't want the buyout. My partner did. We had only one opportunity. We wrote the check, a multi-million-dollar check.
You guys wrote the check to buy out your third partner?
Yes.
Gotcha.
It was all the money plus that we had. We had to borrow some.
That's awesome.
So, leaving the law was the first risk I took. Buying out a partner back when I was, probably 32 was in the second risk I took. You want me to keep continuing?
Oh,
Sandy?
no, this is
questions.
This is
I'll keep going until you tell me
literally perfect.
Until
I'm
you
just
tell me to
hearing
stop.
hits of points of your story on, I think so many people who listen to this are in the same stage of where you were, and just this time frame where they sit there and go, you said something early on. I wanted you to remember where you're at in this because I don't want to mess you up on that. But you say something early on of you looked at the people in the C-suite execs or whatever it was when you were 25 and you were saying, okay, that's not the life I want to live. If that's my end goal in this job, is that the life I want to live? And that's one thing I would challenge somebody who's sitting here listening to this is if you're 20 to 30 years old and you're sitting there going, okay, here's the path that I'm going down. Let me look at the people who are as successful as it gets in this business. Look at their life, look at their family life, look at, do their kids want to hang out with them because they spent time with them? Does their time off match what I want in the future? And then go, is that what I want with my life? And it's like, if it's not, then get out as soon as you can and get into something where you can say, this is my goal for what I want to do in the end. And I think obviously you did a really good job of that early on, not hearing the end of your story yet, but obviously just being able to visually see that. And as somebody sits here and listens to this, just challenge them with start with the end in mind, start with the end in mind. What do I want to be at the very end and what's my goal? And, if, I can't remember the quote, but if you don't know where you want to go, you're always going to get there. If you're going directionally and you don't know where you're going, you're going to end up where you have no clue where you're at. So I think that's a cool part that nugget that I heard in your story that I thought I could hammer in a little bit more.
And how old are you, Sam?
30.
Now's the time to do it, 25 to 30.
If you are listening to this and you're thinking, I want to sponsor the Risky Business Podcast, that's where I want to spend my money, we will gladly take your money and we will gladly tell people about your product as long as it aligns with what we are interested in here on the Risky Business Podcast. So let me know. We are looking for sponsors. I would love to have your water bottle, your drink. I'd love to have your hat that I wear. I'd love to have your logo on something. I'd love to talk about your business platform, whatever it is. I'd love to share it with people so that we can help reach more people with the Risky Business Podcast and to challenge young people and people of all ages to take that risk. Thanks so much.
I didn't have a wife. I didn't have kids. I didn't have a mortgage payment. All I had was my car payment. Because when I moved to Nashville, the company paid for my, I guess it would be called like a midterm rental now.
Yeah.
So I got a cool car, but I had no expenses. If I didn't do well, which I'm pretty high energy, so I thought I would, but it wasn't that big of a catastrophe. If you're 45 with 3 kids, that's not the time to do it. And so people get sucked in. I see 35 to 45-year-olds who just stayed W-2'd, and now they're too scared, and probably rightfully so.
That's a good point. Rightfully
be really
so scared.
confident.
Well, I say it's like, so I saw this so much of guys, they would get out of college and they'd go, okay, well, let me go. Like I got my first good paying job and it's good paying. And they go, okay, well, now I can go get that $70,000 truck I want and it's $800 a month. And then now I can go get this thing that I want and that thing that I want. But then you finance it all and then you look back and go, okay, well, yeah, I have a good paying job, but really I'm operating off of 30% of that because everything else is already accounted for before it gets to me. And then it's like, I have no opportunity to take any risk that could positively benefit me down the road because I've handcuffed myself to this truck payment that I really felt like I needed because I'm now successful. You know, if you would have done that with your attorney job in the very beginning, you would have been, okay, handcuffed to that. I can't go start my own thing because I'm tied to all these different things where my money's already spoken for before it gets to me.
I work with a lot of people who I call they're stuck, right? They've got a $90,000 accounting job, benefits, matching 401k. They're scared to leave. And they're a little bit older than you, so they're really scared to leave. I would say you got to go for it when you're young. Again, I could have always gone back to be an attorney and gotten $100,000 a year job. So the risk, I think, is easier before the kids, before the dogs, before the wife, before the $700 truck payment. Go for it. Again, you can go get a W-2 job. But if someone gives you an opportunity, I would say go for it. So I'll continue on.
Please do. Sorry for cutting you off there.
No, man, that was great. I
roll.
thought that was a great point. Now's the time, the younger you are. And I would go find mentors who you see that are doing well. Andrew Parker, your buddy, came to me and said, what do you think? Right? So go find somebody who looks like what you want to be in 10, 15, 20 years. Attach yourselves to them. So I went to Nashville, and that was in like 98, 99. And then I became the guy who we wanted to take that platform across the country. So I would open up a shop, Nashville. I would put a general manager in place, build out the team for him, train him up, leave him there with 20, 30 people. This went on for the next 5 to 7 years. We opened up in Nashville, Knoxville, Charlotte, Raleigh, Jacksonville, Tampa, Lansing, Fort Wayne, Tampa. I'm
just shocked you can remember all those.
Me too.
I don't know how you do that.
Not sure either, but that was it was a grind and it was hard, but I loved it because we were working for ourselves and I like building. So going to Knoxville, it's zero revenue when I went there. You got to go find the lease space. You got to hire the people. You got to hire the mortgage bankers. Then you have to train the mortgage bankers. Then you have to find a manager before you leave to go to the next city. So each city took about probably 6 months to a year. And then I would leave that city, take a couple guys with me.
Did you live in those cities every time you lived there for a year every time you did that jump?
Yeah, you're going to see that pattern in my life. If I see something that I think can work, I don't put boundaries around me. I'm going to jump forward, and if my wife is listening, she's going to know this story. We thought that company was going to get bought out, and I wanted to open up one more shop that I didn't mention. Because when you get bought out, you get a multiple of your earnings, right? So I wanted to jam in
of course,
some earnings. So my wife got pregnant. I'm now 40. That was right before we sold. I got a dog, Cisco. I said, honey, I'll be back in 8 months. I got to go open up Indy. People want to be here, but I tell them you have no idea what you have to give up to get there. So my wife knew how I worked. She knew I was going. We have a great relationship, still married for 25 years. But she knows I said, look, I'm going to go do this so that you and my daughter, Sky, can hopefully have a better life. Totally understood. So that was kind of the end, and we'll get there in a minute. But I move a lot, or we'll do whatever it takes. And I tell my guys, they're like, well, what do we have to do? Whatever it takes. If you got to move, you got to move. If you got to be away from your wife for a little bit, if you're not comfortable with that, with the risk or the grind, and then whatever it takes, you're probably not the entrepreneur that you want to be. It takes all three to get there. Being intelligent is the fourth. Everybody thinks you got to be really smart. That's fourth. The other three are way more important.
What are the first three? Would you say those again?
You got to grind, be willing to give up stuff, and take risk.
Okay.
Those are the three. If you're not willing to do that, the grind, everybody thinks they want to take the risk until you say, come work for me and I'll commission. I did it. Everybody's willing to grind until you say, come with me for 6 months to Indy and take away from your family. So in reality, it looks hard, but I enjoyed it. I enjoy building. So, and when you take something from zero to hero and you're the guy who went, there's nothing like, for me, that makes life worth living.
Are you ever able, and this is a selfish question I'm asking because I find myself in the same way of I enjoy the building of things. Are you ever able to switch your brain over from, okay, I'm so interested in building to more of a sustainer mindset of, okay, I've built something cool. Let's sustain this really well.
Yes, but I have to rewire my brain and we'll get into what I'm building now.
So no is the answer.
In theory, Sam, yes. In reality, if you ask my partners, they got to pull me back, which is good. I'm going to wander for a minute. I have two partners. I'm the most, I'd say, gunslinger, right? But if they sent me out alone without them pulling me back 10%, I wouldn't be successful. I need my brother and a lady named Lee Wise to pull me back because I run so hard, I'll make mistakes.
Well, so you just answer your question there is have people around you who are gifted in different abilities that you're humble enough to say, I recognize that I'm not the one just steering the ship. And if it was just me, I'd be ahead of my sales, and have the right people around you who you give that ability to call you back on things and maybe ground you is not the correct word, but keep you grounded in, okay, we can't just build all day. We need to do some planning and sustaining before we just go build again.
Right, because my tendency is to just fire away before I think all the way, not think all the way through it, but they're going to think through more things and they have a complementary skill set to me. Lee is a platform builder. She is way better than that. And my brother's a thinker and like a back-end numbers guy, right? He wants to do the books. I'll tell you about this current business, what he does, but he built, when we went from broker to lender, he built the lending with 100 people. That would be boring for me to just stay at home base and hire the people and do that. I wanted to go out and get the loans like you go out and you sell your houses, right? So continuing on with kind of the chronological order, we opened up 13 shops. Then in about early 2000s, a shift happened. We hooked up with a company, LendingTree. So LendingTree and Doug Lebda, who started that, had a new way of doing mortgages. And the internet was fairly young. People didn't do mortgages over the internet. They barely bought a pair of shoes because it was the internet. They didn't even want to put their credit card in, let alone, you're going to do a $200,000 mortgage loan. I'm going to send you all of my income documents. That was very scary. But Doug figured it out, and we started right when he started. We were around, and we were his first client.
Wow.
And this will lead to the next story. But so then we didn't need all those brick and mortars outside. Everything, all the leads were coming over on the internet, and we would pay LendingTree for the leads. We ran that so I consolidated back to Louisville. Everybody was invited back to come. And we had a huge now Louisville shop, but I like that because now me and my guys up here could get right in the pit with my guys. I mean, I would walk that floor. I would get on the phone to show them that, hey, I don't sit in an ivory tower. You want to challenge me into a phone-on-phone?
Yeah.
Let's go see who gets the lead.
Yeah, I like it.
I think that's really important. I sat literally right with them. My brother did the same. Once he started the lending division, he sat in a cube in the middle of everybody doing what they were doing. Kind of the McDonald's theory. I want to make the fries. I want to make the not Whoppers, Burger King, Big Mac. We wanted to be right there with our guys. the culture of the company's name was First Residential.
Mm-hmm.
The culture is what separated us from everybody else. I'll give you a couple of examples. One year, you guys will know who Terry Bradshaw is.
I know who Terry Bradshaw is.
If you're a sports guy, you will. He was the first 4-time Super Bowl champion. Mm-hmm. He had a segment on CNBC. It was called his Pick of the Week. We get a call. They wanted us to be his Pick of the Week. I'm like, that sounds great. Like, how cool is that for all of our guys, right? Not going to get us any more loans, but super cool. And then we would throw a big, at the end it was like 1,000 people Christmas party. So the year that he gave us the Pick of the Week, my brother and I called his people and said, how cool would it be if we could fly him in and have him come crash the party and give his 30-minute fire-up speech? Mm-hmm.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Excuse me, Sam.
You're A-okay.
Wait, that's my brother. He should know better.
He's reining you back in a little bit right there. He's like, it's a live time.
Stop running. So
it's like, don't open up anything new, Jordan.
We really gave back, and it'll go through this Christmas party. Mm-hmm. I would MC it, do something silly. One year I dressed up as Justin Timberlake doing Sexy Back, and the girls around, and we were all disguised. I'm wearing my wife beater, and it was fun. But then I would stand up and MC it. And we had met Terry before the hotel room. And I said, look, I'm going to be up here, lower the lights. You come crashing through the back door, you'll get my cue. So I was up there talking, congratulating people, and we would give awards away, good ones. I think giving back is as important as anything. They've got to share in the success that you guys have or that we had. So we would give Rolex watches, we would give big TVs. We gave away a Maserati one year.
No way.
The hotel said, man, we don't want that in here. I'm like, I need to get the car in here. Tell me anyway. They're like, you got to do this with the oil and the gas. That car was getting in.
That's awesome.
So to have that Maserati,
yeah, of course,
me on stage, all the watches and all the TVs up front. And then I said, what's kind of, and I didn't use this, what's kind of BS is that Terry Bradshaw is not here. I said, we're his Pick of the Week. He should be here.
What do you mean by Pick of the Week? Like he picked a company each week? Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, he picked a company a week that he wanted to highlight on CNBC.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
So that was his cue.
Yeah.
So I was here. He came busting through the back door in the dark.
WWE style. Kicked the door in.
Kicked
jumped
the door
up the top
in.
Rope.
And came running up on stage. And he was a huge star back then. So our guys almost fell out of their seat. Man, he gave a great talk, told stories. Really cool, not arrogant at all type guy. So that fired the whole crew up for the rest of the year. Also, everybody around here, there were lots of loan companies. SharePoint, or not SharePoint, that's the new company. First Residential at Terry Bradshaw. They had a 1,000-person Christmas party.
Yeah, give away a Maserati and Rolexes, and your recruiting is done for you.
Everybody wants to come work for you because they don't care what else is going on.
Yeah.
So we did that type of stuff all the time. We would take a yearly trip to Vegas, right? If you hit X amount of loans in these 5 months, all expense paid, the top guy gets $5,000 spending money, and then it went down to 500.
Yeah, that's cool.
But all that money, and I tell people this, you don't know if something's expensive by just looking at the price ticket. For example, if I told you, Sam, go buy that Lamborghini for $100,000, man, that's a lot of money. I tell them you got to look at the return before you know if it's expensive. If it's a Aventador, you could turn around and sell it for $500,000 that day. That's no longer expensive.
Yeah, of course.
So that Christmas party that cost 6 figures, that brought back 10x that amount. So I tell people it's one of my most important rules. Don't, when you're buying leads, that could be for you too, Sam. When we bought the LendingTree leads, I bought the most expensive lead because it was the $50 lead, not the $12 lead, but the close rates were better. So yes, it was expensive, but the return was more than made up for the expense. I see a lot of young people saying it's too expensive. They never look at the return. So we always looked at the return.
Yeah, I think, it goes back to just good debt, bad debt. You know what I mean? It's like, I was tell them I enjoy watches. I'm not as into it as Andrew is, and I'm sure you are. But it's like
Timex, $49.
Hey, there you go. But you gave away all your Rolexes.
That's right.
But it's like, if it's something that holds its value and is something that you get a good deal on, then there's no problem with buying anything. And in the same way for a lead, or I liked the car analogy you made there. Is if you can, I tell people this in real estate, the most important thing we can do is learn to value properties correctly. Because if you can truly value properties, then there's ways to make money a million different ways in the business. In the same way, if you can truly value what a lead is that comes in for a lending model, and it might cost $500 for a lead for one phone call, but if it's twice the amount, but you're going to make 4x the profit on it, then you're going to hammer every single penny you got on it. And I think it's fun I try to always take, because, we could talk in the real estate lending world for all day, but majority of the people who listen to this are not going to be specifically in our niche. But how can people sit there and go, okay, what is in my field that return on investment look like? And what is the way that I could shift my mindset to where, how could I have the eyes to look for things that are deals that I could, the way you just said it, the return on investment. What's your thought on that?
If you're good at something, right? Mm-hmm. Learn how to monetize what you're good at. Mm-hmm. So in our second careers after this one, we stayed in something tangential to real estate. It was different than doing owner-occupied mortgages, but that's what we knew. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to venture off into, maybe a one-off here and there, developing a neighborhood, doing new builds, opening a restaurant. I don't know how to do that. And I know I can monetize something in the lending field. So again, we'll talk about the second career, but it's in the lending field. Mm-hmm. So if you have something you're really good at, Elon Musk can build a great battery-operated car. That's what he does for his main job. Now, once you become a billionaire, you can start fooling around with spaceships and all that. But for the longest of times, his sole focus, his obsession, was to build the best car, battery-operated. So he followed that rule. So if it's good enough for Elon, maybe we should follow it, right?
I saw a stat the other day that said you could have made $10,000 a day every day since Jesus was born, and you still wouldn't have more money than Elon. I was like, holy cow, that's pretty nuts. He's doing something right.
He's doing something right. So I'll speed it up a little bit, Sam. So
this is great, by the way. I love you just sharing your story and chiming in on little things and then you dropping back into it. It's perfect. And just from the beginning, I know it's going to challenge and encourage a lot of people. So
I hope so.
Thanks for doing it.
So brought everybody back to Louisville. We ended up, the pool of people we couldn't hire fast enough just in Louisville. So I opened 2 hubs in Nashville and Indy.
You went back to the 2 that you
went back because we couldn't hire enough people here, even with the Maserati and all that. So we opened up a branch in Nashville and Indy. They were hubs. They had probably 100 people each. And then here we had another 350. We didn't buy anybody. That all was organically that we grew. And then fast forward, we went from mortgage broker to mortgage banker. We got huge lines of credit. My brother started an FHA department, which I know it's just another, for people who don't know, it's just a different loan, but it diversified us out from the conforming loans. Then we hit 2008. Anybody who went through 2008, it's the great financial crisis. Our economy just absolutely imploded. And the mortgages were the biggest reason we imploded. So we didn't do any of the crazy loans because my brother and I, there were some loans that were not going to perform. We knew they weren't going to perform. I don't want to get into the weeds, but if you're lending $125,000, everyone can understand this, and the house is worth $100,000, that's very risky. You're undersecured. That's not good risk. That's not going to monetize. So why I didn't take the moves that the Big Short movie did, we knew these loans were going to go bad. And in 2008, but Wall Street was buying them up. And you were making tons of money selling them to Wall Street. They saw a great return. They saw the return without seeing the risk. They didn't understand mortgages. So in 8, we got a call from people we were selling our loans to. It was a affiliate of Bank of America called Countrywide.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, we had our mentors are like, here's what's coming. It's going to shut down. I said, what does that mean? They're like, you won't believe what it means. Bigger than you're thinking. I'm like, okay, we'll try to brace ourselves for it.
How long before everything finally broke was this?
30 days.
Oh, wow.
They came 30 days before, when others were not, I guess, alerted to it. All the big banks met in New York. It was Paul Volcker, the Fed Reserve chairman, called in all the big boys, JP Morgan and all those guys, UBS, and said, here's the problem. It's going to happen. Help me figure this out. It kind of got around, and then that guy brought it to us in Louisville. So we prepped the best we could for it.
What do you do to even prep?
Talk to our guys. I mean, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
If those guys are meeting and they can't
go
figure
short
it out,
a bunch of stocks is what you do. That's what you got to do. That's the only way you can make money on it.
So,
unless that's illegal. I don't know. I don't know things very well, but
no, I think you could do it because nobody knew what to do.
Yeah.
Or how bad it was going to be, but it went really bad.
Yeah.
So
I was only 13 at the time, so I just look at it in reverse. Sorry for that.
Appreciate you making me feel old, Sam.
You started in 95. I also started in 95. We just started different races.
Yeah, we did. So in 08 came the second huge risk. We were selling our loans, underwriting to Bank of America's guidelines and Chase, who most people have heard of. Their loans were going bad. They're bigger than we are. They came back to us and all people like us and said, you got to buy back some loans. I said, wait a minute. We underwrote to your guidelines. You bought them from us, but those same people had our lines of credit. So they said, if you want your line of credit, you got to buy back loans. So we were stuck. I said, okay, well, so I remember exactly where I was sitting. We were not old. We didn't have that much money. 75% of the companies couldn't afford it and shut shop. I was sitting with my brother and my exec team, and I said, look, we're going to make it through this if anybody can. Let's have faith. Told my brother, get your checkbook out. My brother's more conservative. It was a 7-figure check right out of our pockets, not the company. I said, if we make it through, it's going to be a good thing. Met with my 4 or 5 exec people. They said, let's do it. We wrote the check. 08 and 09.
And this is post you buying out your third person. So this is just you two or the two.
Yeah. Gotcha. So we spent 7 figures on that.
We're already at 3 or 4 massive risk on
massive.
Not becoming an attorney, jumping over, buying out your partner. This is third one, correct?
Yep.
Jumping in and saying, hey, we're going to pay over $1 million to buy this and hope that everybody else closes down and we have a bigger market share.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, have faith, right? We had enough money to do it. We didn't have enough money to retire. It was a risk.
Wow.
But we took it and we had saved our money. This is important for everyone.
Okay, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, I know somebody that should be on this podcast, we have a website, riskybusinesspodcast.com. You can go on there and you can say, hey, I should be on the episode. Or you can go on there and say, hey, I know somebody who should be on the episode. You fill out a little form on there. Our team will look at it and say, yes, this is a great person for it. Or no, maybe not. We record in Louisville, Kentucky. And so if you're willing to come to Louisville or make arrangements for it, I would love to talk to you about the risk you've taken. So hop on there, riskybusinesspodcast.com. Check it out. Check out the website. We got more info and maybe some merch coming very soon. Here's the hat. So let me know.
Everybody was making a lot of money back in the early 2000s, before 2008. People had 3 houses. They had 5 cars. You see how I'm dressed. And my watch is not a Rolex. It's a $49 watch here.
Yeah.
Save your money for a rainy day. I tell everybody, have a pot of cash next to you. I still have one. A, in case you have a rainy day. B, most importantly, if somebody brings an opportunity to you, but you don't have the cash and you think it's a great opportunity, you can't take advantage of it and monetize it. I keep a bag of cash. My guys keep a bag of cash. I tell my clients keep a bag of cash. Now, if you're worth $500,000, you can keep a bigger bag of cash. I like to say 10 to 20% liquid. Because if you got to pivot, you don't want to have to go sell your house where your family lives.
Yeah, of course.
You don't want to sell your stocks and take the capital gains hit. So have a pure liquid bag of cash, making 4.5%. It doesn't sound great until you need it. So I do the same thing today.
That's awesome.
So we cut the check, but that wasn't the end of it. We weren't making any money. I had diversified. We also opened a title company and an appraisal company. I'm an attorney. I knew the title side, plopped in an attorney, probably 50 people, started an appraisal management company with an affiliate appraiser. They did the work. We split the profits. If I didn't do that, and that was all vertical integration. Guy comes in, gets the loan. We order an appraisal and title. So they didn't care if it was A, B, or C or my company. So it was really easy to vertically integrate on that.
One of my favorite quotes is don't multitask, parallel task. And that's a perfect example of it of, okay, you have the opportunity to say, we're passing all this business out to everybody else, where A, you have the ability to control a whole lot more when you own the two other companies, and B, to control the client experience and say, we're going to keep it all in-house and make sure that this client's treated the exact same way that they're going to be treated on the lending side. And if somebody drops the ball on title, they don't have a bad experience with me, the lender, because that happens there. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, literally the title company was just down the hallway.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yes, the client came first, appraisal, title, we controlled everything. And lending, so the issues were much less and they could get fixed. I didn't have to call, LA to get my title problem fixed. I walked across the street and said, hey, Laura, what's going on with Sam's loan? His title's still not back. So if it wasn't for those two, my brother and I took, and this is how we do it, our guys weren't making the money that they were making. I would say about half. So we didn't want them to take it on the chin. We didn't take any income in at least 08 and 09, I think. And we had so much buy-in to give my team credit, which Lee was the part of that exec team. And then there were 3 or 4 others. We had the ability to go to them and say, we need to cut your pay in half. They were also bought in to me and my brother and what we were trying to do there. And they'd worked for us for so long. They were more than happy to do it.
Wow.
Didn't even question it, let alone complain about it. They were like, yeah, we know. We've seen the P&L. And we know what you two are doing to keep it going. So they were cut in half for probably 2 years too. But
wow,
between all that, it was probably $1.5 million that we weren't paying out between me, Saul, and the 4 or 5 exec people. That money could flow to our bankers on the floor who are making half as much. That kept them in. Plus, that was the culture we wanted. We all win together and we all lose together, but we'll be the first ones to take the loss. Most owners don't do that.
Well, I said something even before we sat down where I said, we were talking about W-2 versus 1099 work. And I said, well, if you're working W-2, boss is for sure going to fire you before they fire themselves. And you pretty much did the opposite on, hey, I'm going to stop taking a paycheck. I'm actually going to fork money out to keep this business alive and go negative in order to make sure you guys are paid more, which says a lot about yourself.
We did have to fire some people. I'm not the hero. It was the back end. We had so much back end between.
Well, just the number of loans you were doing from 2006 to 2009, you were doing way less than half the business. So if you fired less than half the people, you probably.
The back end, we had, a huge accounting department, a huge tech department. We couldn't keep all of those people because, like you said, Sam, we're now doing half the loans. We didn't need as much in the back end. But they understood too. I'm like,
yeah, of course.
It's either I got to let some people go and keep the business going, or we just shut it down.
Yeah.
It seems like that's the better option. We made it through. In 2010, LendingTree was giving us the leads, and they saw that we were monetizing them. They're selling a $50 lead. We're monetizing it for $10,000. Doug Lebda, their CEO, said,
it's pretty good ROI.
We'd like to buy you. I don't know how old I was, late 30s maybe. I said, great, let's go for it. So for everybody out there, you sign a purchase and sale agreement, just like a contract, little thicker. But then the actual purchase doesn't happen for 6 to 12 months, right? Signed a contract, good deal, everybody's happy. And then a month or two before the deal is supposed to close, until you get that money, it's not closed.
Yeah.
I learned that right here. Month before, Doug calls and says, hey, don't want to do it. Let me just give you a breakup fee. And a lot of big companies that purchase other companies or merge, Humana, for example, there might be $1 billion breakup fee. Because if it doesn't go through, they spent all this time, 3 years on due diligence and money, but this is a small deal.
Yeah, of course.
So there was no breakup fee in the contract. I said, Doug, there's no breakup fee. And he said, well, what would you take? The number in the contract.
Yeah.
I've never been so stressed in my life. This deal, we had wound down our lines of credit because they said, we'll take your bigger lines of credit. We'll leverage what you guys have. It was the smart play. And so we wound down, and to get back up and going would have been a Herculean effort. So we're in trouble if this doesn't close. Doug's got more money and he's bigger than we are. I tell people, whoever's got the money in a lawsuit, they're going to win.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter who's right, because they're going to bury you with paperwork. And now you got to hire an attorney. I mean, it's almost impossible to be in a lawsuit these days. This would have been millions of dollars to try to fight him. But we had to hire a guy down in Dallas. LendingTree was out in California. We were here in Louisville. The exec team worked to get this deal done for that month 24/7. We were all in different time zones. I would sleep with my phone on my pillow if I could go to bed, because I was so stressed out. So would my brother, so would the exec team. I mean, if we had to call everybody in at 2 a.m, this is our life right here.
Of course.
My wife's like, this is crazy. I'm like, this is what's going to have to happen. So most stressful month of my life, we end up closing in a month after a huge struggle. I mean, he was just really pushing on us. And he was a heavyweight. We were not.
Yeah.
So he leaned hard. But we got it closed. It restructured a little bit. In a lot of deals, most deals, you get a nice payout up front, and then you get a payout over 3 to 5 years. I said to him, I can't trust you for a payout. Look what you just did to me. I said, I'll take a little bit of a haircut. Everything up front, though. So that's what we did, and it was worth it, because I didn't want to stress out for 5 more years.
Yeah, of course.
My brother left. By the way, cool story about how he left. We got a salary for a couple years. Nice salary, nothing too big. If you quit, you didn't get it. The guy at LendingTree, not Doug, but the guy who headed their mortgage division, knew Saul and I very well. And I think he knew my brother was going to quit. So he comes into town next couple days, have a few drinks, and my brother takes him out for dinner. They go to Stony River, and my brother says to him, hey, I want to talk to you about something. We've been together for a long time, and I don't want to blindside you. And the guy goes, let me interrupt you.
You're going to quit.
No, better than that. He goes, you know what he says to him?
No.
You're fired.
Oh, no way.
He gets all this money. That's the coolest move I'd ever seen.
That's funny.
I was like, wow, is that cool?
Can you fire me too?
Yeah. I wish I would have been there, right?
Like, where's my pink slip?
So continuing onward, we sold. A couple of the exec people just retired for a little bit. I stayed on for a year to help the transition, protect my guys from those guys. After that, Discover Credit Card came in and said, we want to swallow all of you up. So we went through one transition, which was really hard. And now we got a $60 billion company trying to integrate with us. I'm used to going, if I needed a printer, I'd just go to Best Buy. An hour later, here's your printer. You go to a $60 billion company, you got to fill out 8 forms, and it takes 8 weeks. I ended up just like, I can't deal with that. I go, I'm going to follow your rules. I'm employed by you, but this is not Discover. Yeah. This is a grind business. Like, I can't wait 8 weeks. So I stayed for a year and then I exited. Mm-hmm. So my brother went in 11. I think I went in 12 or 13. Everybody said, don't dive into something immediately because people are going to come at you with all opportunities, right? Waited. Couldn't really find anything. Guy comes to me and I'm in the working out and stuff. He goes, let's open a couple gyms. I'm like, that's not too much money. That sounds really fun. So I opened 2 gyms up, not here in Bowling Green. Again, it monetized better in Bowling Green at that point. So I did that for a couple years, just had fun with it, made a little bit of money, but I wanted to keep my brain going on. I didn't work for like 3 months, and you can tell I'm energetic. That didn't go well for me. I didn't really know what to do. So I jumped into that. Then in 15, our second career started that we're still doing today. Do you have any questions you want to interrupt, Sam?
No, this is perfect.
Perfect?
This is great. Yes, sir. I'll catch you if I want to interrupt.
Okay.
On something.
So in 15, a couple guys come to me and they say, we want to flip a house, but we don't have the money. The banks take 60 days. They're a pain in the neck. You know real estate, you know mortgages. Would you fund us out? I said, let's try it, right? I did. So I was just funding out of my pocket, a couple deals a month, no big deal. But I saw how they monetized. If you were quick and fast, and this will surprise you, and close in 3 to 7 days with no headache and a very small down payment, they don't care if they pay you 3 or 4 extra grand for that short-term 6-month flip loan. They're going to lose the deal if they have to go to the bank. So it's either make 30 grand on the flip, right? Pay me a couple grand, or just lose the deal if they go to the bank. So I saw the opportunity, did it for about a year, but I needed my 2 people back with me. I needed my brother's money. Said, I need your money, and I'd love for you to work if you want to work, because he's very good at what he does. And I needed Lee, because she can build that platform. I needed someone who could build a platform that if we had 100+ loans, I could go at any moment and say, I know everything about that loan, the payment, when it was originated, how many payments they had made, what the payoff was, what the value was. So Lee has a big brain and built that platform. Now, getting Lee, she had a huge job because once we sold, she was an all-star, so everybody came at her. So she had a job in Chicago, and so the next risk was, yeah, I'll match the salary. We're not making any money right now.
Yeah, of course.
But of course, and I think she's more of the breadwinner in the family, I understood her risk for coming over. So I guaranteed her salary, and she came over. 10 years later, we've got only 5 employees, smaller platform, but it's more efficient. We have about 100, 150 loans at any one time that we run. It's a smaller operation. It's fairly profitable. We break it up into 3 categories. Now, here's the risk on this, by the way. If you want to go big and we're going to expand here, you have to personally sign on the line of credit if you need it. So we lend a lot from my brother and I. We have different ways to get capital, but we also need to go to the bank if you're going to get big. And we're going to start doing that now. I've just started traveling. You need to sign for a $50 million line. And that's going to be me and Saul.
Which takes your due diligence with the loans you're giving out to a whole new level, to where you're triply ensuring that they're, when you're getting into house flipping, you're buying houses as is and no questions asked. And then you're the one that has to be on the line a little bit for the rest of things. Yeah.
Now, the good thing is a lot of people who do what we do didn't start in lending. So we have that skill set. I'm not an investor. A lot of these people are investors who went to become a lender. So me and Saul and Lee know how to underwrite and do our due diligence. In 10 years, 1 foreclosure.
Oh, wow.
So far, so good. We know how to do it. Geographically, expanding your footprint. We don't know the other city as well as here. But if we have a few more, cost of doing business, right? So we're currently looking to expand, but we have to expand our line of credit. So now we have to take some more risk of the new city, probably hiring some people. Right now, Sauli and I do all the front end work. If you call, the new company's called SharePoint, you're talking to the one of the three of us. I want to make this point as well. Don't get too big for your britches. I take the 1-800 calls that come in. They're like, you answer your own phone, I answer the phone. They're like, well, who's the processing person? I need to talk to them. That's me. Well, what if I get a contract? Who do I talk to? That's Lee, the other owner. Well, after it closes, who do I talk to on the back end for the draws? That's my brother. He's the other owner. Don't get too big for your britches. I travel. I still grind. I stay in hotels. I grind as hard today as I did when I was 25. If you lose that, I tell people the difference between good and great when I'm giving presentations is 10%. If you grind 10% more, you'll be 10% better in one regard. It will make you 5 times better than somebody who's not willing to do it. I don't do that much more, but I do more. Well, I probably do more than, if you just ask my wife, I do some crazy things like leaving her when she's pregnant. Not everybody should do that. My brother and Lee probably wouldn't do that, but do more than most people would. If you got to go grind it out in Nashville, me and my boy went down there, spent 3 days, 18-hour days grinding it out. That's what you got to do. And find someone that you can't exhaust. If I find someone who won't do that, he could be super smart. Andrew Parker, your buddy, super smart guy, young, energetic. I don't know if he'd want to do that. He's got a wife who's in med school. He could do it. I would hire him in a heartbeat, but I don't know if he wants to do it. Most people don't. They want to get here, but they don't realize the grind to get there. And for some people, you good realtors can make really high 6 figures, right? For your lifestyle, you may want to stay here in Louisville, be with your family, make your nice money. You make 300 or 400 grand, you can pretty much do what you want and don't incur the headaches I do. Neither one is wrong.
Now, I think it's back to just what we said earlier. It's what's your end goal? And if you just go with your end goal in mind and say, here's where I want to be, it's, you know, a person like you sits there and goes, okay, it's making 300 or 400 grand and being comfortable in my Kentucky suburb is not going to be what your end goal is. And so you knew that going into it. Therefore, you had to take different, bigger, more dedicated risks that was so much harder than the person who that's what their end goal is, you know, which is, there's a reason it's a harder path to go down because less people want to go down it.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
And more than the money for me, I need to be fulfilled or life isn't worth living for me. If I'm not challenged, I want to be in a constant state of telling myself, can you do that? That's the challenge I like to make my life worth living. If I'm pushing paper, my life is boring. That's not for me. So give me something that is really challenging. Hopefully I can do it. That's good for me mentally and physically. It's not for all people. So I tell people this may not be for you. You're perfectly happy just making really good money, working 30 hours a week, you're established. You have time for your kids, you can go to every game or choir recital or swim meet. I miss a couple of those, right? But I get enjoyment elsewhere as well. So we're still running that today. That kind of ends my story with the last risk. We're going to go get a big...
You said it's called SharePoint?
SharePoint. S-U-R, point lending. Sorry. SharePoint Equity. The other one was SharePoint Lending at the end, but we don't have to go back. So now I'm back on the road. It's like deja vu. Nashville, maybe.
Indy?
Maybe Indy. Like,
this is trip number 3 up for Nashville and Indy for you.
They may get tired of me up there. Like, you're back again. It probably will be. So I'm still pushing as hard as I ever did. And if you want to do well, there's a young pup coming up. There's a 30-year-old, me and you, Sam, that's grinding away at 5 a.m. So if I don't do that, and I do, I'm going to get beat. And for competitive people, they don't want to get beat. More than the money is the win. Thrill, the kill. If you have that attitude, the money will come.
That's funny. You're the Jay Pitts, who I know you're familiar with. He was on the podcast last, and he pretty much just said, hey, so many people get into real estate worried about the money. He's like, don't worry. Don't worry about a penny that's going to come into your account. Take care of people and work hard for them, and the money comes. If you take care of enough people and people have a good enough experience, it's like, I can't remember the name of the book. I read it a while ago, but it's just working for the referral, I think is what it's called. And it's just, don't worry about anything on this deal. You're working for those people so that they have a good enough experience with you that they want to say, hey, he did a good enough job. I'll pass his name on.
Unless you have more, I'll end with this if you're okay.
No, yeah, please.
But I could sit here and talk all day with you, Sam.
I'm loving it because your story is just so. I know exactly why Andrew wanted to sit down. Is usually I have to sit here and go, okay, so tell me what your risk was. You know what I mean? A lot of people, it's like you really got to draw out what their risk was. I mean, you laid out 4 or 5 clear, pointed risks that you took that go, okay, here's a pivotal point in my life and my business, and here's a pivotal point. And obviously, we don't get into numbers, but you sold your business for a lot of money to where you decided, okay, you took a risk in saying, okay, rather than being successful and being done, you said, I want to jump back into the beginning of this. Again, alluding back to what we talked about, you're a builder. You want to start something new. And I'm sure if you sold SharePoint, you would be back to starting something new that was parallel to that again the next month after that. So I think it's a cool challenge for people to go, okay, what has God given me the gifts and the abilities for that only you can go and jump into what you're built for and say, this is what I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. and do, and go to Indy for 8 months out of the year and go do like that. That's a God-given ability that you have abilities that most people don't have. But B, how am I going to take those abilities and multiply them, grind on them, push on them, and learn how you can do that 10% more that's really going to make you different. And as people sit here and listen to this, I think they've gotten just a steady flow of risk from your story, which is really cool.
Lasting and really important. Maybe the most important thing I say today. You have one thing that if you lose it, you can never get it back. It's not money, not a skill. It's your reputation. The minute you lose your reputation, and at some point, every business person knows they're walking into a gray area. You should analyze if the gray is still okay or if it's leaning toward the black. People will see $100,000 on today. I just had this happen. Younger guy saw a lot of money on a deal, multiple hundreds of thousands. So it'd be a big deal for him. It wasn't even gray, it was to the black. It could have closed. But the risk he would have taken, I don't want to get too far into it because people know who I think about this. It was outrageous. I said, if I could make $500,000, I was giving him an example of how outrageous it was, the risk he was taking as a 30-year-old man. I said, if you can make 500 and I can make 500, 0% we should do it. Absolutely not. The risk is so large on this one. So that's the biggest one I've seen so far, but I see it every day. People are doing things to make a quick buck and their reputation is gone. And once it's gone, it's really hard to get back, if not impossible. People in the real estate market know who the guys are with a really good reputation. I'll give an example and a shout out. Do you know Harry Borders, the title attorney?
Borders and Borders.
Harry Borders has a pristine reputation. Everybody knows he's ethical, responsible, competent, and he won't do anything to jeopardize that. And he works with a lot of people who do jeopardize it.
Yeah.
They can't sway him off his rock. Jenny Fields,
yeah,
I want to give her a shout out. They come to her with, just like me, with all these different things. They never waver. And that's why Harry and Jenny have been around with their rock solid reputation. I don't know, 30, 40 years now.
Oh, every investor you work with wants to close at Borders and Borders. Every single one. Yeah.
I don't want to talk for Harry, but I think we want to close with Harry too. And there's another guy named Hunt Routseval, I'll give a shout out to, and Michelle Ron. Those three have stellar reputations. They do not waver. They'll get creative because they're very competent attorneys. But if it's going to jeopardize their reputation or do something unethical, they will never waver. SharePoint will never waver. I don't care how much money, because you cannot get that back. And we've spent, I'll age myself out now, like Harry, we're about the same age, 30 years. Harry's father started that. We are not going to risk that reputation.
Yeah, of course.
But I see guys my age risking it every month. Getting into that gray area, different than getting creative. Creative is fine. Working a way around something. But doing something dishonest, or people don't realize how easy it is to commit fraud. I'm going to give the attorney definition of fraud. All it is a misrepresentation of a material fact that someone relies on. So if you told somebody there's no mold damage, that's why this house should sell for $500,000, you just committed fraud.
Yeah.
For a realtor, unethical, they wouldn't think that's fraud. They just think I'm omitting something.
Yeah, of course.
It's fraud. So it's easier to be unethical than some people think. It doesn't have to be a crime, right?
Of course.
Where you're stealing money. So unless you got more, Sam, I'm willing to stay, as you can tell, forever.
This is perfect. I think it's, go, if you could say one more time, those 4 things of grinding. Yeah, sorry.
Sam, you're putting me on the spot here. Take risk.
Yeah.
Grind. Don't set boundaries. And the 4th one was kind of the don't just look at the expense.
Yeah.
You don't know if it's a good deal by just looking at the cost. You've got to tell me the return. So back to the Lamborghini example, if it costs, I'll go to the housing world. That's where you are, Sam. One of your people, I'll give you a story. One of your people well, your buddy, was trying to sell a house for, I don't know, $460,000. It needed a lot of work. It would have been okay to move in but it was very dated. To build it up to the neighborhood, it needed a lot of work. But it was functional as is. They tried to sell it. I said, go to your client and say this. It's not selling, we're sorry, but you know what? We'll take it at 400, just God forbid it doesn't sell. Man, that was great for the seller to hear. No realtor, including these two who make a lot of money, they're like, we can do that? I'm like, it's great for you. I'll show you how to do the flip. Your client is getting no hits, is getting frustrated, maybe even frustrated with you guys. It's a win, win, and win for SharePoint. I sat him down with Andrew, your friend, Parker. Got to give a shout out to Parker.
He's great, man. He's great.
Got to give a shout out.
We should have had him sitting here in the middle today. That would have been fun.
We should, but he would take over.
We could pick on him the whole time. He's fun to mess with.
So these realtors who are in and around real estate, and I'm talking to all the realtors right now, there are a handful of realtors banking it right now because they would do this deal that these people just did. I said, buy it for $400. And they're like, well, then what do we do? I said, we're going to rehab it, right? I can give you somebody who can do it. You can find somebody. We always try to add value. So if you want my guy, I'll have him come out. We give him a lot of business. 48 hours, he'll give you a quote. They ended up finding their guy. So it was $400 for the buy. The rehab was about $260, so there's $660 in, right? The carrying costs with me are going to be really expensive.
Yeah, of course.
And it's going to take about a year. I'm like, add 50 grand for me. Say it's super high. Now we're at 660. Now we're at 710, right? Closing costs with Harry, we're at 720. Miscellaneous, 30 grand goes wrong. I don't know, your contractor missed something.
Yeah, of course.
Now we're at 750. And that's with me estimating high on everything. Throw another 50 grand in. I don't know why.
Yeah.
800. You're going to sell this thing for 900. You're going to make between $100,000 and $200,000 only because you took it down yourself.
Yeah, of course.
I'm like, how many opportunities would you have like this if you knew SharePoint would back you? You know, we can close in a week.
Well, and I think as an agent, we see this. You hit on it earlier. All right, I'm here to tell you about Brick. Brick is something that has truly changed my life. If you are an entrepreneur or you're on your phone for work at all and you have the problem with maybe scrolling over and getting on Instagram when you could be returning some texts or phone calls or emails, this is for you. I bought it when I didn't fully understand it. You tap on the Brick app. It shuts off all the apps that you choose. For me, it's all social media. The amount of times I will like actually scroll up and like just go to Instagram or TikTok without even thinking about it. And it'll be like, hey, you're bricked. You can't even get on this right now. It literally saves me probably 1 to 2 hours a day of productivity. And with my code, which is SAM47683, I'll put it linked to wherever you're watching this, $10, which is around 20% on the Brick app. Takes it from like $60 or $65 to like $40. It is fantastic. It's magnetic, no batteries, nothing. You just tap on it. It will change your life. The speed of money is probably one of the biggest things that holds up deals. The appraisal process, the financing process, the getting to closing in time. People are willing to take a discount on a sale. I remember the first house I had, there was an investment opportunity that we had that we needed a certain amount of money within 14 days. And I had this investment opportunity I thought was great. I called my buddy in real estate in Virginia where I had this house and I said, hey, I know I could sell this house for X amount. If you can find somebody who can close for sure in the next 10 days, I'll sell it for X amount. It was 10, 12% less just in order to do it. And he was able to find somebody. It worked out perfect. And in the end, I think that having somebody in your back pocket like you that can say, hey, obviously I realize that I'm going to pay a little bit more for this, but like your money sitting on the side of your 10% of your net worth that you're always ready to do, you realize I could be making more if that was in the stock market, but I'm opening myself up to more opportunities that I can pivot and think that my earnings could be higher than that 8% that I can make in the stock market. I think that's a cool opportunity.
Your broker, who actually lives behind my brother in that crazy house, John Lenahan. Shout out to John Lenahan, right? He's our guy.
He's awesome. I love John.
He's our guy. So he may not like this, but you guys are on a hamster wheel. You guys chased your 3%. You take down the asset, that asset never pays you again. Right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
It's done. It's a one-time shot. That's it. And then you got to go chase to kill again. You can get very rich. If you're really good, you can get wealthy. But you can definitely get rich that way. You guys are in and around real estate and these investments. You had Jay Pitts on. Jay Pitts makes a lot of money not doing real estate.
Yeah, of course.
Selling in houses or buying houses. Jay Pitts has a huge portfolio. A lot of the big guys, I don't know Lenahan's portfolio, but I'm going to assume it's fairly large. You've got to build both. You make the donuts during the day, right? Make your 3%, you pay your bills. You also have to get wealth. You can do that through investing in real estate. So when you're tired, when you're my age, if you have a portfolio, and it could be anything from as small as single family, multifamily, commercial, I get into some syndicated deals, but those are low touch, I call them. I have a couple of strip malls that I own in a syndicate, 3 hospitals. I've never been there. So those make your money low touch, no work. What you and I do on a daily basis is a grind
high touch.
and a lot of work. So that's our high touch. But if you don't have the low touch, those assets that are making you money while you're sleeping, because you don't have any residual income with the real estate.
Oh, yeah, of course.
When you're sleeping, nothing's making you money. Those deals make you money while you're sleeping. So when you wake up and you're 50 and you're my age, if you want to retire, you've set yourself up for that.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know who knows about compounding, but the earlier you start, if you start investing when you're 20 versus 30, depending on how much you have, it's millions of dollars. Every 7 years or 8 years, conservatively, if you want to go 10 years, if you put $1 million in, after 8 years, you should have 2. The next 8 years, it doubles again, 4. And then you get to 8 and then 16. You have that kind of time. So if you put in $1 million now, for 28 years, you should have $16 million. Don't wake up when you're my age and go, why don't I have that? Mm-hmm. So now I don't have that much time left compared to you, but the younger you start, the 1 goes to 2, but the last compounding when it doubles goes from 8 to 16. Mm-hmm. If you don't have that last one, it costs you $8 million.
Yeah, and if you can start 8 years earlier, when you're 22, you're at 16 to 32, and then you go, okay, this is where.
Yep. Yeah. Sam, you just caught on real quick.
Yeah, that's cool.
Everybody catch on. Ask Sam if you want to know how you figure out compounding. But reputation.
My multiplications of 2 are okay until I get past 32. 32 to 64, I'm done. Sam, Jordan, thank you for your time. This was awesome. I was honored. Again, I said it's like a cup of coffee, even though neither of us drank coffee. Cup of coffee with you and getting to meet you, and I'm thankful for your time, and thanks for encouraging and challenging people to take risk. Thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate it as well. I know you guys are doing a bang up job. I love doing this type of stuff. Mm-hmm. If it helps people, great. Anybody out there, if you want to come see me and Sam said, and he assumed wrong. He said, I could never get somebody like you to sit down with me for an hour. And I said, no, that is not true. So Sam's buddy, who's 27, younger than Sam, I said, I met with Andrew for 2 hours, didn't know who he was, never assume. Me being dressed like this right here, driving a Rubicon, people have assumed the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. I could help a lot of people that say, well, that guy must not have anything. Mm-hmm. Just happened to me the other night at a bar. Guy came up to me, assumed I could have helped this guy. Mm-hmm. But I'm very under the radar. Mm-hmm. Don't drive fancy cars. Don't wear a fancy watch. I like the people who don't assume. Mm-hmm. People want to sell me their resume sometimes. Not necessary.
Yeah.
Come talk to me. Mm. Always got to be open to anybody. You never know where the next opportunity is going to come from. A young lady who just started in investing, funded a couple loans for, smart, ethical, competent, came in and pitched me a deal. It was, she asked for hundreds of thousands of dollars. We're in a deal together. Mm. She came to ask. She's a grinder. She's competent. I don't know if she want me to throw out her name.
Yeah, don't say it.
But so I would like to compliment her, but don't assume you can't come talk to somebody like, now John Lenihan has, I don't want to say that word, but more money than God, I think. Don't assume you can't go get a meeting with John Lenihan. Yeah. But go look at his house and you'll see his lifestyle and his cool cars that I am jealous of. But don't assume you can't get a meeting. All right, Sam, I'll be quiet now.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much. That was fun.